Hi everybody, you've got Garrett and Elle here with Bring Home Denver, your local real estate experts. And today we're interviewing Lipniskis of Levello Construction to talk about roofing, siding, everything outside of your home. And so Lee, welcome. Thanks for taking the time with us
Yeah,
today.
thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Absolutely. So we want to talk about what happens when you're going to sell your home and you think that you may need some exterior updates, or if there's a hailstorm and you know that you need some exterior updates. I know that's two very different scenarios, but let's talk through that a little bit. Let's say that I'm thinking about selling my house and I'm unsure how my roof looks. I think I might need some siding. What do you recommend I do? Do I call my insurance company? Do I just open up the yellow pages? It's not a thing anymore.
I don't think so.
What do you recommend?
From the 90s?
Yeah.
I definitely recommend calling a trusted contractor, so like ourselves at Levello, to come out and actually assess the exterior of your home. So a lot of times people don't know what their roof looks like. How often are you up on the roof? If maybe once a year putting Christmas lights up. So to call a trusted contractor first to come out and actually assess the damage is probably the smart thing to do to get ahead of potentially selling your home.
Absolutely. I know many times when we go to sell a house, the inspection happens and then we find out about all of these issues, and then we're behind the ball and we're chasing kind of the whole process, and it can delay closing, it can delay seller's plans. So if they call you first, have you seen how that can kind of expedite everything?
Absolutely. Yeah, especially if there's hail damage to the roof or the siding or exterior in general, and you have to file a claim. Sometimes that process can take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and that can potentially delay a closing for a buyer and a seller. So it's good for us to get ahead of that schedule to know what it looks like and what's going on so that we can prepare, and also get the insurance company on the same page. So if the buyer or if the seller and construction and insurance are all on the same page, we can expedite it pretty quickly, and then also get title involved. And there's a couple different options there, but it's always a good idea to have us come out first.
Fantastic. That makes sense. And let's say that they know that they have hail damage. Do you recommend people just call their insurance, or do you like to go out first in that scenario as well?
Yeah, I like to go out first because I like to really see what does the damage look like. In a previous life, I was an adjuster, if you remember.
I do.
And so I know, I've worked for several different insurance companies, and so I know what they're looking for. I have that fine eye. And so just because you have hail damage doesn't mean that they're going to pay for the entire roof. So it's really good to get out there and assess what is the extent of the damage. Not just is there, but what's the extent of it. Is it, above your deductible? Does your roof need to be replaced, or gutters, or, siding, etc.? But it's good for us to go out first and assess it, because if it's just minor damage, you might want to just pay out of pocket instead of filing a claim. $0, a low dollar amount claim is not so great to have, especially your insurance agent probably doesn't want that either. So it's good for us to go out ahead of time.
And so are you saying that if they call insurance first and insurance isn't going to replace the roof, they still get a hit on their insurance?
Yes, okay. That is an accurate statement. Yeah, that turns into a $0 claim, and insurance companies keep track of that.
Okay, so absolutely call your construction company first. So Lee, in addition to $0 claims, there's obviously some pitfalls that homeowners need to be aware of, especially after a storm comes through. The first one that comes to mind is door knockers.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not if it's gonna hail, it's a when it's gonna hail in Colorado. And you definitely want to watch out for people who are just walking through your neighborhood, knocking on your door, saying, I'm working with your neighbor, and they kind of name drop a random person. You definitely want to make sure that you're working with a local company who's trusted and who doesn't have to door knock.
And who's licensed and insured.
Who's licensed, insured, absolutely.
And as a rule of thumb, if you need a service provider, give us a call. Typically, the best companies out there don't go and chase storms. They don't door knock because they don't need to. And so if you're unsure, please use us as a resource, because in general, your best companies aren't going to be going door to door after a storm.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it doesn't need to be replaced and the roof just needs some work, do you do roof repairs and certifications?
Yes. Yeah, we do. Absolutely. Yeah. It hails in Colorado. It's kind of inevitable. It doesn't happen every year, but even if it hails a little bit, you still might need a minor repair. And why not extend the life of your roof instead of always having to replace it? So yeah, we do repairs, we do roof certifications for realtors, absolutely. And then I would also say, along with that, is knowing your insurance policy. So making sure that you know what your insurance coverage is for wind and hail. There's usually a separate deductible for wind and hail. So you want to know what that deductible is going to be. And also if you have things like code upgrade or code coverage, because if you have an older roof, your roof may not be up to code, and you want to make sure that you have those extensions on your policy to really know what you potentially would be out of pocket.
And Lee, one of the benefits of working with you is that you used to be an insurance adjuster.
Yeah.
And so you speak the language, you know how to quote it. Tell us about how that's a benefit to the homeowner.
Yeah, so I'm actually an insurance nerd. My degree is in insurance and risk management.
Nice.
I thought I wanted to be an actuary at one point, but I have way too much personality for that. And so, yeah, in a previous life, I was an insurance adjuster, and just being able to speak that language and looking at the estimates and the line items, you've been through that process. It's very foreign.
I can't read it.
And so to make sure that you're being taken care of, not only by your contractor, but your insurance company as well, it's a benefit to have somebody who can speak that language and translate to you so that you are fully understanding what is happening and how that process works.
Fantastic, yeah. And so after you were an insurance adjuster, you got into the construction world before you launched Levello.
Yes, that's correct. Fun fact, I actually fell off a roof. I was in Parker on a wood shake roof, and I stepped on a beehive and fell from the second story to the first story, which is why I got out of being an adjuster in the first place. And now I'm back up on roofs every day. But yeah, I started Levello a little over 3.5 years ago because I just want to do things differently. You know, our construction industry kind of has a black eye, and people don't trust us like used car salesmen sometimes. And so I love construction. It's what I'm passionate about. And so I really want to shift the perspective of homeowners being nervous to call a contractor. You know, I want to be that first point of contact where they say, oh, I have something wrong, I'm going to call Lee with Levello and be there for them.
Yeah, and as a past client, I can tell you, working with a woman-owned business was fantastic. The communication was amazing. All of the common tropes that I talk about with contractors was not necessarily the case with you, and it was very refreshing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
And then what other resources do you have for folks who are just curious about, you know, where hail is hit, if they just want an estimate online? What do you have that can help folks before you actually get to their home?
Yeah, so they can always reach out to us if they want to know a specific date of the hail. We have some pretty cool technology that we can put in the address and figure out the size, the wind speed, the wind direction, the hail size of their exact address. So we are more than welcome to help people out with that. And then if you go to our website, there's a little tab that says get an instant roof quote. You put in your address, and 30 seconds later, you can get a pretty accurate quote for your roof. So if you're just inquiring about it.
And what is your website?
www.levelloconstruction.com. Levello.
Fantastic. And just so you know, I personally use Lee and her team on my property, and I fully endorse them. They do a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you.
The communication is amazing, which is not common in the construction industry.
Yeah.
And so yeah, any questions that you have, we'll drop her information here, but
Thank you.
Please reach out, make sure that you're taking the right steps, because not only does it help you in the transaction, but it also helps you in your insurance process. Nobody wants a $0 claim on their record, and it can be a lot smoother when your roofer actually meets the insurance adjuster out at the home.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.